Good afternoon, folks. Happy Monday. In today's video, we're talking about the latest Detroit Lions news and rumors. We're going to talk about Matt LaFleur. Could he become OC for the Lions? We're going to break that rumor really quick because there's news on that. Mike McDaniel, update on him. The Lions OC tracker. 4 places where the Detroit Lions could trade David Montgomery, and the Lions got a couple All-Pros. But before we get into today's video, if you think it's a smart and sound idea to walk up to Debo, smack him in his face, and tell him that he does not have a bald head, go ahead and subscribe to my channel because we talk all things Detroit Lions news and rumors. Sometimes being a Lions fan, you can make a mistake. Also, take that like button with you and let that bad boy get pummeled. Let's get into today's Lions news. To start off this news, let's get into the OC candidates. We're going to start with Mike McDaniel. And Mike McDaniel is scheduled to interview for the Detroit Lions OC job. One of the NFL's top OC minds is in high demand. That said, former Dolphins coach Mike McDaniel will interview this week for the Browns, Falcons, Titans, and Ravens head coaching jobs, per sources. He has competition. Great mind that he is. Building Tua up, the offense with those high-end speed wide receivers. With that said, I don't believe he gets a head coaching job. He failed in Miami. He was a great mind at OC, but to me, he's not a head coaching candidate. And I understand that the candidates right now this offseason is pretty much butt cheeks. There's not that many good ones. But if you're a general manager of a franchise and you're trying to change the trajectory of that franchise, bring in a guy who failed in Miami, and if you look at how he interviews and how he speaks to players, it's hard for him to be a head coach. It just doesn't seem like that. He seems like more the nerdy type. We'll see, but he is a great mind. So maybe a team does make him head coach. Hopefully not. Folks, if you hit that join button, it's really easy. You can become a member and be with the fam. All you got to do is hit that join button for $1.99, $5.99, or if you want to be high speed, for $9.99. Let's get into the next one here. There was rumors that the Lions should pursue Matt LaFleur. Well, now let's go ahead and end those rumors really quick. Packers now are expected to try to work out a deal in the coming days to keep head coach Matt LaFleur in Green Bay, per sources. And that's Adam Schefter. I never expected LaFleur to come to Detroit. I expected him to stay a head coach for the Green Bay Packers. Why is that? Look at the candidates available right now for head coaches. They're not that great. This is not an off-season where you have the best candidates available. Since that is the case, why would you do that? That would be a mistake for the Packers. He has took them to a couple NFC championship games, perennial in the playoffs, even though they lose. I expect him to stay there, and I never expected the Lions to pursue Matt LaFleur because I didn't think he would become a head coach. If they fired him, he would become a head coach of another team. So it's simply just open up another spot, switching one coach for the next. Now, Mike Payton from A to Z Sports, he has 4 trade scenarios for our Detroit Lions David Montgomery. Now you say, why? Why do we keep coming up with this, Mike? Why do you keep talking about this? It's not me who's talking about this. It's not me who wants this. It's Brad Holmes. This is what Brad Holmes said. He says, about David Montgomery, those are discussions that we are going to have a lot more in-depth in terms of what is the best plan for him going forward. You know, it is. It is somewhere else, question mark, or whatever the case may be, but just really appreciate everything that he has done for us, Holmes says. It does end up going that way. I hope it doesn't, if it does, because we love David Montgomery. He's a good football player, and I wish we would have been able to get him more utilization for him. I know Dan Campbell feels the same way, but you know, those are conversations that we're going to have because we've got a lot of respect for that player. He deserves to be in a situation where his skill set can be utilized. We'll love it for it to be here, but if it can't be here, you know, You can have just to see what you can work out for the best of him. Did you know that Brad Holmes is the general manager and he makes the decisions? Players are here or not? He's going to be traded, probably, in my opinion. I really do believe that. Right, David Montgomery still got a lot of wear and tear on him. He does. Look, from last year to this year. Not much. Not much at all. To me, it's pretty damn good. Before we get into his packages, would you trade David Montgomery? T for trade, P for pass. Give me your thoughts in the comments. The first trade scenario for Mike Payton here is Lions trading David Montgomery to the San Francisco 49ers. Oh, do you want the rich to get richer here? And we're only giving up a 4th round pick. No! No! I don't want to see that. They're already great run in the football, and you're giving our enemy, someone that we're going to have to face against, draft pick. And I know that Mike Payton wouldn't want to do this. This is what Brad Holmes potentially could do. And this is what it would look like. This is a scenario so you guys kind of have an idea of what this would look like. Another one here that he has, trading David Montgomery to the Atlanta Falcons for a 4th round pick, giving them the scariest running back duo in the NFL. Now, no. Again, this is an NFC. You want to send him to the AFC, I'm all about it. I just don't want to have Montgomery, Bijan Robinson. Oh, and Atlanta would be a good team, too. They did that. Next one here. The Lions are trading to the Bengals for a 5th round pick in 2026. Yep, it's a later draft pick. You say, Mike, but there's 4th round picks from San Francisco and Atlanta. You also got to understand, they're in the NFC. So it's going to be a little bit different. The Lions will demand more if you're going to send them to the NFC, but if you want to be smart and not have to worry about it, a 5th round pick will send him to the Bengals. And here he's got a 5th round pick as well to the Vegas Raiders. Same type of deal. That's what I've been talking about. 4th or a 5th round pick or a pick swap. If you're going to try to do a 3rd, you'd have to do a 3rd and send them something back, maybe a 5th in return. David Montgomery is a player that is just good at what he does. And I don't want to see him in the NFC. I'm sure a lot of people do not want to see him in the NFC, and they would like him to be right here. Back in Detroit. I don't think he's going to be back in Detroit, but a lot of people like. I think he does get traded. What do you guys think? Do you think they trade him? Let me get your thoughts in the comments right now. Let's go ahead and go into Lions got some all-pros. It's great news for Detroit. We got 4 all-pros. The first one here is Penei Sewell. First team all-pro selection. Penei Sewell getting it done on the offensive line. And I know for him, he said, oh, I didn't have the best year this year. I definitely, I wasn't. But he was dinged up too. And the whole offensive line was butt cheeks. Penei Sewell's awesome. It's hard for me to ever rag on Penei Sewell because he's a pro. He's an all-pro. He's the heartbeat of the whole Lions team. You guys seen the way that he gets into the media. You see how he talks to everybody. And of course you see him in pregame revving up the team and getting them hyped. And of course you've seen what he does on the field. He's amazing. Super proud of Mr. 58. Super proud of the other players on this list, giving it all, doing everything they can to make the All-Pro team. Penei Sewell was one of those guys. So, in the comments, put shout out to 58. Put 58 in the comments. Put 45 in the comments. Put them all. Show some love to our All-Pros. Next player here that was an All-Pro is Jack Campbell. Phenomenal work, Jack Campbell. Oh, he was great this year. He was just on fire. Now, I expected him to take a step this year. I didn't expect him to take this type of stuff. 89 solo tackles, 5 sacks, 3 forced fumbles, 0 receptions. He was ballin'. Jack Campbell was a beast. Next player that was sent to All-Pro is Amon-Ra St. Brown. Good old St. Brown. He crushed it. Like always, St. Brown is the Detroit Lions' physical strength. The guy who's always putting it on the line. 117 receptions, 1,401 yards, 11 touchdowns. An average of 12. St. Brown battled through injuries this year and still played even in meaningless game versus the Chicago Bears. This guy is awesome. We love Amon-Ra St. Brown, and he brings everything to the table. He doesn't leave it out there. Same with the next player, and that's Aiden Hutchinson going to the All-Pro here. Hutch, he wasn't getting the amount of sacks we wanted Hutch to get. Wanted him to get, to be defensive player of the year. That's what we all wanted. But look, 14.5 sacks, 36 solo, 4 forced fumbles, 1 interception. Not too shabby for our All-Pro. Not too shabby if you ask me. So it's a pretty good thing. Lions looking good, getting it done with the players, even though we didn't make the Super Bowl. We didn't make it. We didn't do none of that. But at least we had some players recognized. I mean, that's about the best you can get. We don't sucks when you don't get the best, but it is what it is. So give me your thoughts in the comments below. With that said, folks, adios.